Hi, I'm Eric Hawkins. This is Truman. Welcome to episode 9 of New and Blue. Today we're going to look at a bunch of new tools. The last time we did new tools was about 8 months ago. So we've got a lot to show you. We're going to launch right into some of the new things. So Truman, let's start with bottom bracket tools.
So we've got 6 new bottom bracket tools here. They're basically most of our range of aluminum bottom brackets. Some of the major changes on these, or one of the major changes, is that it works with our new BBT RS. And these tools have a threading in the center to accept this tool. The reason this is really cool is because there are a lot of newer bottom brackets on the market that have very, very minimal engagement. So about 2 millimeters of engagement. So it's hard to hold those tools on. This tool holds it on for you squarely on there. And so you can use as much force as you need to get it off, and then you can pull it right off. And so it saves your bottom bracket, saves your bottom bracket tool, saves your hands. BBTRS is great. And then the new tools, there are some new knurling, a little bit new styling on them. It's all mostly the same patterns.
Yeah, basically newer versions of existing tools, but they all now have the thread included in it so we can use the BBTRS.
Yep, that's exactly right.
All right, so tell us about the caliper here.
Yeah, so we have, the DCAs, this is a digital caliper accessory. These are little tips that you can put onto your DC1 or other calipers. So these are going to allow you to more easily measure disc rotor thickness. So when you're measuring a rotor, rotors wear like this. If you were to cut it in half, they wear like this. So if you just measure the outside, it might not appear that it's worn. Where this tool, it allows you to measure the center and not the outside. So that is an important piece. It also has points, and so those are nice because those allow you to measure like a BCD, a bolt circle diameter. And so you'll find that is important when measuring for chain rings. You can use it for a pitch circle diameter when you're measuring a hub or other things like that. So these are really slick. They allow you to do a few different things that you would not be able to do before with your digital calipers.
And this is shown on our DC1, our digital caliper, but they'll work on pretty much any caliper.
Yep, pretty much any caliper out there.
All right, well, let's move over here. These are DTD 8 and 10. And basically they're small, star-shaped, or Torx is the common name, drivers. And they would be typically used on brakes, brake levers, brakes. Just a very small Torx drive, but you have a lot of control here. It's short to get right next to your business there. And comes in an 8, a T8, and a T10. This is our new TPT1 tubeless plug tool. And it's similar to other plug tools. This one, it comes with the bacon strips. But ours is unique in that this is aluminum, this is steel. And once you put the plug in, then this slides down. You can hold your fingers on it, and then you can pull the tool out, but the bacon stays in.
It's super
so you
slick.
leave the bacon behind.
Yep.
Right. And then storage in the handy pod here. That leads into this tool, which is the RTP1, the Rescue Tool Pod. So this tool straps in along with our MTB5. You can buy this as a set. It bolts right onto your water bottle bosses, right on your frame. And it's solid. It's not going to move around when you're banging around. So that is available as a set. MTB5 is available on its own, as is the TPT, the plug tool. Okay, so let's go back over to Truman, and he's going to talk about some other disc and disc brake tools.
Perfect. Yeah, so we have here the BKUK items. So these are basically additional items to our bleed kits. Brakes are ever changing, so there's going to be needing to be updates as we go along. One of the big ones was these are new M4 fittings. So these are important for, there's a couple new brakes on the market, both the Campy hydraulic brakes. These are going to be needed for bleeding those, also needed for the new Trick Stuff brakes, as well as SRAM DB8s. So those are available. And we have a new sleeve. This one is slimmer around the outside to fit into some of the smaller areas when you have to slide this over a bleed nipple. So that's slick. We have two new spacers, bleed blocks, and these are 11 millimeters thick. When our bleed kit has a 10 millimeter thick block and a 12 millimeter thick block, and 11 millimeter is needed for Hayes Dominion brakes. Also a new hose. This has a needle on one end, so if you have a brake that has a bleed nipple on it, this little needle goes in the middle of it, still allows the flow of fluid through the middle, but centers it so it doesn't rock. So when you're opening and closing that nipple, that doesn't fall off. So this works really slick, very, very slick for Shimano brakes.
So this is an add-on kit to our bleed kits, and just to keep them up to date.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
All right. What is that tool?
This is the PS1, so pad spreader. So this is great for if you were to, say, be transporting your bike without a wheel in it, you pull the brakes, the pads advance, then it's hard to get your wheel back in. This you can use to push those back into place. Simply push it in and wiggle it back and forth. But also, what it's really great for is after a bleed, you can kind of exercise your pistons with this. Advance them and then wiggle this and push them back into place. Pull this, and then this mimics the thickness of a rotor, so you can see exactly what your brakes are going to feel like before putting a wheel in there. So it's a really slick little tool. And that's the PS1.
So we've got a couple tools that we don't have in front of us. The first one is a PRS-26. And a PRS-26 is basically a three-legged version of the PRS-25. PRS-25 we've been making for 15 years. It's our top-of-the-line folding stand, all aluminum with the shop clamp on it. And the PRS-26 has all those same features, except it has three legs. Some people like the stability of three legs better. And also you can rotate the whole stand to either position over a leg or between two legs. So the other things we don't have in front of us, we have two new tool holders that go right on your bench back. One that holds lubricants and one that holds sockets and bits and torque wrenches and so on. And these are specifically made for all the things you would use on a workbench on a bicycle. This right here is a TS 2.3. The TS 1 we came out with in 1970. TS 2 we came out with in 1973. We ran with the TS2 for many, many years, and then we had a TS 2.2, which came out almost 10 years ago. This is now the TS 2.3, and there's a few differences here, and Truman, you can help me with some of these, but the uprights are a little bit longer.
Yep, to accept some of the larger wheel sizes and tire sizes that are, fairly common these days.
Right. We do make a TS 4.2, which accepts fat wheels with a tire and a rotor mounted. This will not do that, but it would still work on a fat rim, but just without the tire on.
Without the tire. Yep, and then if you have 197, then you'd have to put the adapters on and take the rotor off.
Right. It's got a little different system for the caliper arm going up and down, which is smoother, and that when you raise and lower the caliper arm to change your wheel size, change the stand for the different size wheels. We've got a kind of a speed knob over here, so if you're going from a really wide hub to a narrow hub, you can spin that a lot faster, so it just speeds up operation. And then we include these adapters for through axles, and they just pop right in there, and then you can, and they'll work on all sizes 12, 15, 20 through axles. And then when you're not using them, they store right on the stand right there. So super convenient, really easy, and very fast. So there you have it, 18 new products that we've come out with in the last 6 to 8 months. Now we're going to talk about some videos. So Truman and Calvin do our videos, and they just finished a series on cables.
Yep, installing cables into your shifters, and then also routing through your housing of your bike. So those we would spend a bunch of time making sure that we covered pretty much any shifter that you would have. So you can go to those videos, and feeding the cable through the shifter can be quite tricky. So it was important to get some nice shots in there, plan out everything. So go check out the new, trigger shifter, drop bar shifter, and cable and housing, and grip shift, and bar end shifters.
On our YouTube channel.
Yep.
And then the other thing was Truman and Calvin visited Seth of Seth Bike Hacks, but he's now
Burn Peak and Burn Peak Express.
Seth. And so check out those videos as well. They went down to help Seth set up his new bike park and install some repair stands and so on. So pretty cool. So we just talked about repair help with cables and housing, etc. But we go way back with our repair help. And it didn't start out as fancy videos and graphics and so on. There is an origin to all of our efforts to help you learn how to fix your bike. So I'm going to go talk to Calvin right now because he was involved, not quite from the beginning of our educational materials, but pretty close. So let's go talk to Calvin. And through the magic of television, we're here with Calvin Jones. I know it kind of seems like the same place, but it's very, very different. We are going to talk about education, Park Tool education, repair help rather than education, where it started, where we've gone, all the different forms, formats, printed, video, etc. that we've had in the last 40 years. I'm going to start with this because this even predates Calvin.
That's old.
Yeah. So not his life, but his life at Park Tool. Calvin's been at Park Tool since 25th year. So congratulations.
Thank you.
This was the Park Tool manual. Came out in 1986. And it's a lot of photos, a lot of print. It was done by a local frame builder here named Tim Patrick. And it was very thorough at the time, and this was our only piece of education material. Then we had parktool.com in 1997.
Right,
That was the year you started.
That's right. What we called the internet back then. Chief.
We did call it that.
Yeah.
And we didn't know if it was going to catch on, but it seems to have caught on.
So we were early adopters, and this is one way, through the internet and through some other ways, how we share the technical knowledge with you.
Right. And so on the internet, on our webpage, we had repair help. And Calvin has written all those repair help articles. So they're still on the website and they get updated quite frequently.
We even have the original relic here that created those. It's very special. We'll keep this one hidden.
Right.
So taking this to races, going out in the field and working, writing as we go, that's how all that early stuff came out.
Right. So then our first attempt at educating was to educate the consumer, the home mechanic.
Right.
And we created the Park Tool School. So Calvin's got the books here. He can tell you about those.
Early edition here. This is 2001. So a lot of drawings here. We had a couple different here. Student manual. But the real change in here that we've done, that Eric was really behind, was to create a curriculum for the retailer to reach out and teach. How can we format this so the retailer can be the educator? And it's a system that we've done now for some time, and it could work really well for the shops that do that. So through the years, we've gone through several editions of the teacher's curriculum. Again, for the shops, it's how to teach it. And then along with that, of course, the BBB, molded into the BBB.
Right, so this is the BBB1.
Big blue book.
Of bicycle repair. We wrote the book on bicycle
That's
repair.
right.
And so we can just count them here, 1, 2, 3, 4. We are now on version 4. And again, like Calvin said, this was for retailers to teach their customers, teach somebody how their bike works is the most important thing. How does it work? Our idea isn't like buy these tools. Our idea is to say you can fix your bike. There's certain things you can do, and Calvin has a great way of explaining those things. And then we just hope that the head mechanic or the shop owner is doing it as well.
What we found generally is, I believe, Eric, is it is a great day
To fix a bike. So then we moved on from there, and we did some educating for retailers, for professional mechanics. And we hosted tech summits. We did those for 3 years in usually 3 different cities each year.
Philly.
Yeah, we did them in Chicago, we did them in Minneapolis, California.
Yes.
Yeah, we usually pick 3 different cities per year.
It was a fun weekend of classes. Professionals would come, sign up for different classes, and you rotate through different companies, one of which was us. There'd be Shimano and Tram and Camping Knoll, so on, so on, so on.
Right. Yeah, so we were just one of the companies, but we put on the tech summits.
Right.
So now we move to modern day, and we still have the BBB, we still have the Park Tool School, but our way of educating and helping people fix their bikes is YouTube.
That's right. So the repair help there has been real successful. People seem to like it. It's also a nice way for comments. We do get feedback there from the ideas and what you think worked well, what we can do better. So yeah, the internet, we're going to say we're
still in on it.
Yeah, we're still there.
Right. And so now we have hundreds of thousands of followers, and I don't know how many repair help videos we have now, but it's got to be a couple hundred, isn't it?
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
And more
Plus
coming.
Tech Tuesdays, we have product videos. It's just a great way for us to communicate. So that is our little history of education and repair help that we've done over the years. So, and we're going to keep doing them.
Yep.
So let's send it back to the studio. And we're back. So in addition to our YouTube channel, we'd like you to visit our Instagram page, and you can tag us with a picture of your home workshop. We love to see them. We like to see the tools on the wall, the toolboxes in your van, whatever. So visit us on Instagram and visit us on TikTok.
Yeah, we recently got a TikTok, so check that out. It has a few fun videos on there.
And you'll see Calvin TikToking.
Yep.
So that's it for New and Blue episode 9. 18 new tools. Join us for episode 10, whenever that is, and we'll have more to show you. And until then, happy wrenching, and thanks for being with us.